So, I've made a decision, and the decision is going to be controversial.
Let's go!
What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the free trading game collection. This series where I look to build a video game collection without spending any money on it. If you wondered how I've done any of this and you want to know how I picked up this game, for example, then you can go and check out the playlist that is linked in the description to find out how I've managed to pick up every single game that you see behind me and many more besides for absolutely nothing out of pocket. We have made a profit in this series that is on screen for you right now. It is currently being adjusted because I am taking things in and out of the collection and deciding to trade them in rather than selling them, and that is going to bring me to the topic of today's video, which is going to be trading stuff I already own because I'm desperate to get some new games into the collection. Now, there are a few games in my collection that are definitely up for debate, and what I mean by that is I'm not really that bothered by them. The first of which is going to be Cabela's. Is it Cabela's Survival or something? I bought this in Swindon CEX quite a while ago because I believed it was underpriced, and that was almost the only reason I bought it. The other one was because it had a bit of a story to it, which the other Cabela games don't tend to have, and I was intrigued. I've dabbled in it a little bit. It's just not for me. I'm not really one for hunting. So I looked at the trade price of this game, and it's gone up. I believe I bought the game for about £4 or £5. It's now trading in for 10. They try and sell it for 15, and I believe actually it will only go up. I don't think it's worth buying at £15, but I think it's going to go up even further than that if you have it yourself and you maybe consider trading this in. I would actually hold on to it. I say I would. I've already traded it, so maybe I wouldn't, but I can definitely see it going up in price. My point is, I'm going to purge it, and we're going to trade that into CEX, get £10 in credit, and get a game that we actually intend on playing. So that's going to be the first game on the chopping board today, Cabela's Survival or whatever it's called. So that's one game out. Another thing that I'm going to do is, do you remember the Lego games pickup that I had a couple of weeks ago? Picked two brand new sealed Xbox One Lego games up. They were the same game actually, Skywalker Saga and the Galactic edition of that game for £8 each. Well, I sold the Galactic Edition on Vinted, which means we get to keep all the money as well. No fees on Vinted for sellers, which is fantastic. So that money will cover the price of both games. Therefore, the one that I have left, the Skywalker Saga, just the basic version, is now free. It doesn't owe me anything. Although, technically speaking, we have used the money that I was going to get provisionally to buy Source of Madness on the Switch. But it's all been calculated, it's all on screen for you. So what I've decided to do, because I can't sell it, I've tried and I've failed. I could keep it on eBay. I've decided just to bin it off, trade it in. The trade value has gone down £1 since I first picked it up. It was 14, now trades in for 13. I think that's just going to drop and drop and drop. It was mentioned to me in the comments as well that this is now available on Game Pass. So there's very little reason for anyone, unless they're a physical collector, to pick this game up on the Xbox One. If it was on the PS4, for example, maybe I'd have more joy in selling it, but I've decided just to bank the £13 that game's going in. Another game I'm going to trade is actually one that I picked up on Vinted recently. Now, I don't have it in my hands to show you because I've already done this trade, but I was searching through Vinted and I saw a Sonic game. And incidentally, it was like 2 or 3 days after I picked up Sonic Forces for £4 or £5 on a Facebook Marketplace pickup. Traded that in for 12. This one actually I bought for 5 all in, including the fee and the postage, which I was blown away by. And it trades in for £16. A big price on this game. Now, I didn't try it. I know a lot of people will criticize and question me for not even trying the game before I traded it in. What if you like it? Then you could have kept it and put it into the collection because it's a good game. And I kind of decided this last time. The 3D Sonic games aren't really my thing. I love the 2D games, and I do really want to get Sonic Mania back again. I regret trading that, to be fair, but I really like the old games, and I really want Sonic Origins as a physical release, but I don't think they're ever going to do it, although I would love it if they did. But yeah, the 3D games for me, I don't think they're really my thing. Not to say that I won't pick it up in the future and give it a go, but for £16 right now, just wanted to bank it. I'm going to make £11 in credit profit, if you will, and we're going to trade that in. The final thing that I'm going to trade in today, actually no, I'm lying. I'm going to trade two things in. The one of which is an F1 2009 Wii game bundle thing that I got with the Wii that we bought ages ago. I bought this from a friend, £25 boxed Wii, few games, Super Mario Galaxy that went into the collection, and this was one of the games that came with it. It's not for me, it only trades in for £3, but it's gone. The final item that I'm going to trade in today is going to be an Xbox 360 controller. I mentioned when I went to that game store that I can't mention for legal reasons, not really, last time that I traded in an Xbox, or I went to trade in an Xbox 360 controller. Well, I have a couple left now, one of which is my personal. I have another two that are just too bad to trade. The sticks are completely ruined on them, so I'll have to bundle them with a console when I eventually get round to fixing and selling that one, which I probably never will. And then I have one more where the sticks are good, the battery compartment is clean. That trades in for £14 in CEX. Happy days, boot sale hunting finally became fun again, because I find Xbox 360 controllers all the time, but they weren't worth picking up months and months ago because the trade value on these were horrific. Now, £14 all of a sudden is definitely worth picking them up, so that's going to go in. Total credit, I believe, is around £68 from that little lot there. Let's talk Xbox One for just a second. So last night I sat down, had a little look at Facebook Marketplace, and I see something, and it's an Xbox One S with a few games boxed for 90 quid. Now, this is the same guy who sold the two sealed Star Wars, Lego Star Wars games for £8 each. So I thought, well, maybe I could throw out an offer. I did, and he said, no, look, 90 is fair, which to be fair it is. So I was thinking about it. And then the more I thought about it, I thought, well, it does make sense to do that. I can sell the original Xbox One that we have. That would probably fetch, if I bundle some games with it as well, on the high end, I think I could probably get about 80, 90 on eBay. A lot of you may disagree, and that's fine, but from what I've seen research-wise, I think I could probably achieve that. Anyway, even if I was to get 70 quid for it, right? Well, the controller's worth about 40 in CEX, so it's got to be worth 70 all in all. I'm paying £20 to upgrade to a 1S, and I'm getting the games, which all trade in for about 30-ish in CEX as well. So it's a good deal. And I nearly did it. I very nearly did it. I was in an iron for a while. I decided, yes, a good deal. I was about to message him, and I had another think very quickly. And then I thought, the only time I ever play the Xbox One is for Game Pass, and I've been playing maybe the odd exclusive. Forza, for example. There are some Halos on there, obviously. State of Decay. The only real exclusive game that I'm actually really wanting to play is State of Decay. I think there's another one. Is it called Redfall? I put it in a video a while ago of games I actually really want to play coming up, and it is an Xbox exclusive, and it does look interesting. But again, it's going to be on Game Pass day one, if not already. I can't remember when it came out. So, what's the point in upgrading to a better system just to play games on Game Pass? And I can play them through cloud as well, so I don't even need the Xbox to be good. So, I've made a decision, and the decision is going to be controversial. I'm going to sell my Xbox One. I'm going to put it on eBay, just going to get the money for it, work out how much it owes us and all the rest of it, take it out of the collection value, and then put it into the cash balance. And then I'm going to get rid of all the games. So I've just gone through the games, and there are only 3 that I think are trade-worthy. First of which is, in fact, State of Decay 2. I think that trades in for £4 somewhere. I'll put it on screen for you. That's how much it trades in for. This War of Mine. This is, of course, the Little Ones edition, but it's essentially the same game. And then, of course, that trades in for 3, I think. I want to say 3. It might be wrong, but again, it's on screen. And then this one. Now, that trades in for 5. So, those 3 games there, I am going to take with me today, along with all the other junk that I've put into my bag. I say junk, you know what I mean? But then the rest of these, I'm going to bundle with the machine, and I'm going to look to get as close to £90 odd for the Xbox and these games and the controller as possible. And then what I'm going to do, I'm not going to buy that Xbox One S on Facebook, even though it is a decent deal actually, 90 quid. and it would net around £130 to £140 in trade. But it's not worth it for me, so I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to look to buy a Series S at some point. I'm not going to collect any physical Xbox One games, and anything I ever want to play on the Xbox, I will play via Game Pass, which is a nice amount to take. There are a few more games here or there that I have in the collection that I may want to trade in, a lot of which may be PS4 games, because I want them on the Switch. So, do I really need them on both platforms? I don't know, but we'll revisit that at a later date. Now, though, it's time to hop in to CEX. So with £68 in my pocket, in a voucher, of course, I decided to start looking at the PlayStation 5 games. There were a fair few there that caught my eye, I won't lie to you. I was very tempted by The Quarry, incidentally. I don't know if I've even got footage of this, actually, but I was tempted by The Quarry. It's a horror game that is basically just story-driven. It's almost like a film, from what I gather, and you don't do an awful lot besides try and progress the story, which is fine. And it's got some really big actors in it as well. David Arquette, for example. I really like the look of it, but I've seen this on Vinted recently. Very, very cheap. So I'm glad I didn't pick that up, because I actually looked after the fact, because I've since bought another game on Vinted that we'll showcase in another video. But The Quarry was one that kept coming up, and I nearly bought it but decided against it. A few other PS5 titles in there that were tempting, but I decided in the end, and I would say I still don't know how I feel about it. I have been playing it a little bit last night, and I think it's going to be a game that I can get into, so I'm kind of glad I picked it up, but it's definitely a game that is going to drop in price over the next month or two, especially with the new one coming out, I would imagine, quite soon. Let me put you out of your misery. The game in question is WWE 2K22. Now, I know a lot of people will potentially criticise this purchase as one that I didn't need to make, but if you cast your minds back, if you have been watching this series, I mentioned this game quite a lot. When it first came out, I was very tempted to buy it at launch. I'm glad I didn't, because I feel like it's a game that I can't quite dedicate the amount of time that I'd like to for the full asking price, but for £20, this was how much it is in the pawn shop down the road. This is almost how much it is brand new these days as well, so I can absolutely see this dropping in price even further, but now's the time. I sat down last night, had a little play. I spent 2 hours last night. I played one match because it took me an hour and a half, not to install it, to make my character. I know, I got a little bit too into that, but yeah, really enjoyed it. Graphics look good, gameplay looks enjoyable. Still a little bit robotic, these wrestling games, now and again, when the players move and they get up and they're on the floor and they go from hurting to just being completely still. I don't know, they need to improve that, but picked it up, enjoying it so far, let you know how I get on in the future. So I will have to adjust figures for this episode because, of course, we've spent money on Sonic Colors, and I do end up spending money on the rest of these games as well, because we had £68. Of course, we're taking 20 off that for WWE. We do still have some money left, of course, but then I ended up going over that because there are two games I wanted and I couldn't leave them there, so we do have to take some more money out at the end, but it's okay because we have a cash profit. We can do that. I don't need to spend down to the penny of credit that we have. Now, I'm in CEX. I'm looking in the glass. Some decent stuff in there, some nice Joy-Cons I really want. The really old Nintendo Joy-Con, unfortunately, they only had the right one. Really disappointed with that. But still, I will definitely be on the lookout for those because I really do like that retro look. But unfortunately, I don't want to buy just one Joy-Con. A few Mega Drive games that you don't see that often. Not a massive selection, but some decent little titles there that I was very tempted by. But I did manage to pick up a Mega Drive game, and it's a game that... It was one of those I saw it and I was like, no way that has happened at this time. I have to buy it. I looked at the condition of it. It's not great, I won't lie to you, and it isn't complete. But just because of what it is, I had to buy it. I am talking Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Now, why is that a game that I was like, no way is that there? Well, the other day, I actually went to Game and bought, I wouldn't say the remake, but the reimagined version of this on the PlayStation 4. It's a beat-em-up game, of course, with tag team elements on the PlayStation 4, and it's an enjoyable game. This is the original on the Mega Drive that I played as a kid and absolutely adored it. Loved the Power Rangers. Now, unfortunately, it was £18, which is, yeah, it's okay. It's not a great price to pay for it, but it's not a terrible price to pay for it either. The label on the cartridge is phenomenal. It looks really, really good. There isn't a blemish on it. It looks, I wouldn't say it's brand new or anything, but it looks very, very good. I'm very happy with that. But as you can see, it isn't complete, but also it has one big fundamental flaw, and that is the insert. Right there is damaged. It's been dented, and the insert is ripped. I'm not a fan of it. When it was showed to me in the store, I did very briefly in my head question whether I should buy this, and I thought, look, £18 can be spent somewhere else. I can go and get a Switch game, I can go and get a PS5 game, I can go and get a few PS4 games. Recode London was there for 12, so I was tempted. Was it 12 or 18? I think that was actually 18. But either way, I decided no. Have to. Talked about it the other day. Haven't seen it in my CEX in the last 10 months, and it pops up the day or two after I pick up the PS4 version. Now that's fate. Not that I believe in that kind of thing, but there it is. What a game going into the collection as a placeholder for now. If I can pick one of these up again in the future with better insert and with the manual, I'll sort of Frankenstein it a little bit and make my own, and then sell the other one on or trade it in or whatever it may be. But for now, that's going into the collection. And that brings me to my final pickup. The lighting in this video has changed so much. I'm in the dark right now. So I'm having a look at my favorite platform right now, which of course is the Nintendo Switch. They have a sizable collection in my local CEX. They've had quite a few decent titles traded in recently that I'm very tempted by. I just wish that I had like £500 in credit so I could buy all the games that I want. I'm going to have to do it bit by bit. I'm happy to do that. Now, technically speaking, the game that I picked up, I already own, which is a little bit stupid, but at the same time, I've only maybe played, I don't know, 20 minutes of the one that I already own. This one is essentially the same game, but it has been tweaked a little bit to make sort of, I don't know, quality of life a little bit better, I guess. Plenty of games on the Switch that I could have bought. Now, I really want Let's Go Pikachu. I've mentioned that before. I really want a couple of Zelda games on there as well. There are plenty of Pokemon games that I need to pick up, and a lot more sort of obscure titles as well. I think there's a Constructor game on there that I really like the look of as well. However, I didn't buy any of those. I bought something that a lot of you are going to roll your eyes at. It is the new Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe. I wouldn't say I'm addicted to it, but I am playing through it at a rate of knots, ladies and gentlemen. Now, this, like I said, is already out on the Wii U, essentially. It's had a little bit of a tweak here or there, but it apparently is more or less the same game. However, with 164 courses to play through and the ability to do it handheld, I would be rude not to. So yeah, £38 on that game, which a lot of people may not be able to justify. But like I said, I wanted a traditional Mario game, and that is the closest thing you can get to a traditional Mario game physical on the Switch. Mario Odyssey is a newer Mario game that has rave reviews, and I will absolutely pick up, as I will any other game that you can think of that I should have bought instead of this. However, this was one that I really fancied playing at the time, and that's kind of what my collection is all about. I want to play these games, and look, it's not in there. It's gone. Why? Because it's in my Switch. I'm playing it right now. I think I can't remember what I've just gone through like the second stage. So a lot of fun. Chopping and changing between the characters. Mario can be challenging. Luigi is very slippery. But I like it so far, and I'm very happy to put them to collection. Unfortunately, I'm kind of run out of room for my Switch collection right now because I've got Wii U, GameCube and Switch on the same shelf. And I got a little bit fancy, and now I'm going to have to rearrange everything that I've done to incorporate it. However, big fan of that. Really looking forward, actually, to going into CEX again with some more credit, if I can get some, to pick up some more Switch games. 3 new games going into my collection, and I'm very happy to report that I don't really regret that as much as I did yesterday. Before I played this, I was like, oh, have I really made a mistake there? Should I have just waited because the newer one isn't too far away? Should I have just waited another month or two for it to come down to like £10-15? Probably. However, from what I played of it last night for a few hours, I did really enjoy it, and I think I'm going to really get into it. The one thing I will say about it, though, the load screens for a PS5 game are a little bit shocking. Not that they last that long, but they are so frequent. They just pop up all the time. I spent half the time just sat there staring at that load screen, and it's a little bit confusing to me. This is a PS5 game. That processing power in that console is huge. Surely they could have cut that down a little bit. I don't know, maybe it's just me, but tell you one thing that doesn't have load times, and I don't know how, Mega Drive games. You turn it on, you're playing it within seconds. But yeah, really big fan of picking those up. Looking forward to my next trip to CEX. I'm also looking forward to see what that guy in the comments is going to say that I like to do for credit next. That's been entertaining recently. If you don't know what I mean, go to the comments, have a little look. If you have enjoyed this video though, do me a favour and hit that like button. Let me know what you think of any of these games in the comments. And until the next time, goodbye.